Yeah, if you put public comments on TV, people will be coming, playing with the cameras and trying to help their own businesses, all kinds of dire warnings. So we opted to take that chance and go ahead and put it on coverage. And until recently, I don't think there was any discussion about any major guidelines or anything of that nature. There have been some political statements made. I think that's something we have to be very careful about. One political party gets up and talks, then now what are you going to do? You got all the other political parties at an equal time. I think that is problematic. I don't think that's the intent of the comment section to the public, either for a party or a person. But I certainly don't have a problem with 30 minutes because in practice it's not relevant.
We don't have nights for 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe just 3 or 4 people spoke. So I think it bounces out.
I certainly am in favor of removing the 30 minutes. Obviously, I've never had a problem with that. Matter of fact, that would be one of the greatest criticisms I have about having that public comment go on and on and on. So I certainly don't have any problem with removing 30 minutes there. Although I would say it would be 9 people speaking for 3 minutes, not 8. Yeah, yeah, but some of our speakers would probably be about 4. Okay, anything else on there? I'm not really crazy about making it go right. I mean, tying additional boards to placing it immediately following the Pledge of Allegiance. I think that other boards may not desire to place it there. What I would mention is that, I think we afford the greatest opportunity to speak of almost any county in the state. And I don't know what any county does, but I bet you we do. Buncombe County does not allow a public comment session to be televised. It is not televised.
And the commissioners aren't even there.
And the commissioners aren't there, the county manager takes care of the public comment. If someone can say that we don't, or if there's some other county that does more than we do, I'll be happy to hear from that back. I bet you that there may be some county that does the same, but not one. I feel pride in that, and I know the rest of the commissioners do as well. We do afford the public the ability to speak.
And I think the people watching on television certainly understand that because they see it every week. Chairman has exhibited patience and joke. Also, on number 2, each speaker will have a maximum of 3 minutes to speak. We didn't object if we changed that to unless the board chair grants additional time. I don't think we need to have votes. I mean, that could be 8 or 10 votes in any session to allow someone to have 4 minutes. I think that's worked well so far.
Yeah, I think the 3 minutes is a good guideline. If you've got something to say most of the time, if you notice with our speakers, you can say that in 3 minutes. You can make your point in 3 minutes. If there are additional time, and most of the time we grant that if there's a number of speakers, we allow them to go over as well. Another thing about our public comments is that we do televise. It costs $175 an hour for us to pay for this to be televised. Granted, $175 may not be much to you, but $52, I think in the public comment was maybe $52 may not be a lot either. And so bear in mind that we are paying that for that additional time for that public comment.
I believe number 8 was something that there was some criticism of. Speakers only discuss matters within the jurisdiction of the board. I personally feel that's a good guideline to have. Otherwise, you could have people, several people talking about anything on the sun that have nothing to do with commissioners, who would have no ability to influence or affect in any way.
I agree too. We have a public comment not to address other matters but county matters. And I think most people follow the public comment by commenting on county issues, but sometimes we get other issues brought out that are not in our purview or in our control. And and all we can do is encourage that. I suppose we can just stop them. We probably won't do that either.
Hopefully most people, when they want the purpose of the guidelines, if people know the rules, most people, most reasonable people, try to obey those. And so I think that's certainly reasonable.
How about distribution of materials?
I'm fine when people come and distribute the materials to us. I don't, public comments is one of those things that we don't have to respond to them, and in the past we have not responded. So if they want to provide us materials, like for example, the lady who came to open this walls provided everything she was saying, and I appreciate the fact that she's done that. We can go on the minutes that way, or it doesn't have to, but we got his documentation of that, so I don't have any problem. As long as they don't expect a response.
Yeah, people have to understand that if they're going to bring in voluminous amount of documents and give them to us here, we can't be expected to read and digest those materials and also listen to what they're coming. So, it'll be the next day before I get a chance to read it.
I was very happy what she was saying because I was trying to shuffle the papers down to y'all, but she hadn't been.
So it's
I'm glad she read because I was able to catch back up and do that. But that's just, if you're going to give out material, understand it. I can't do two things at once like that. So.
My opinion on that in particular, that one reason for requesting them in advance is it allows us to make sure that the appropriate staff and also the media has a copy of the copy. 14 is the number of copies we prepared for the materials you have in your packet, so that each of us has a copy, and then we also have the media attends and request a copy of what they said. So by giving it to us in advance, it allows us to facilitate the transfer of that.
That's a good point. I didn't know why 14 was the magic number. We're going to take out the media getting copies and all the staff. That makes sense.
I think you can tell them if they want that disseminated in a proper way, they should bring it, but I don't think it should be a requirement.
Okay.
If someone wants to disseminate it, they should know that this isn't going to get to the paper, this is not going to get to the county manager, it's not going to get to all the people that you want to see it, unless you bring the number of copies that we need to provide that. Otherwise, I don't think it should be a requirement.
Should we just recommend it for people?
You can probably just change it to say if the speaker wants to make sure that information is disseminated to all of us, including the media as well, they need to bring them more copies, but they don't have to.
Maybe a lot of people can't label that access to make 14 copies or something. I mean, let them bring a copy. If we need 14 copies, I think we can copy. I was looking at one time, I was thinking, why don't we have a public comment session in the meeting? Well, it's a good example right here tonight why we should not do that. We had this agenda on our agenda to discuss, and everybody got here and talked about it, but no one, there may be one or two, I can't really see it. They even gave us the opportunity for them to listen to what we're discussing. That's disappointing. It really is. We listen to them, and as far as I'm concerned, you've done a good job. Why should we burden another board that may want to do something different? You just now tonight, I think, we put the lights up there. Let's just continue the way we had it and let it go.
How does everyone feel about that?
I think that structure and expectations are some of the things that prevent things, maybe prevent people from saying, doing things they would ultimately perhaps regret. I think the structure is good. We're very lenient. We're saying what's expected of people who speak to the board, and these are entirely reasonable. And
they're going to say what's on their mind anyhow, and that we should listen to them, and whatever they want to say. you know, that's not the county commission, they should be at the school board. We had a gentleman talk about he couldn't get a permit to do things because the town of Waynesville, he should be at the town of Waynesville, at their board meeting. So, I mean, a lot of people don't understand what we really do and what the county government is responsible for. So, we don't want to embarrass someone who's really got a concern when he comes up here to speak and say, you can't talk about that, you gotta go down to the town of Waynesville, you gotta go to school. I think we ought to listen to them and maybe, like our chair does, keep responsive to those, and be nice to say, you know, that's not our responsibility.
Okay, so what if we take out one completely? Number two, each speaker will have a maximum of 3 minutes to speak, period. And take out the rest of that. Number three, you know, sometimes I think that should be in the purview of whoever's the chairman. I'm not saying necessarily me, because tonight that probably reduced the amount of public comment significantly, because there were about 8 people who wanted to speak on that hall matter. Prior to starting on number, so I don't know if you could come up with some kind of language there, that's what I would like to see. 4, I think, is fine. 5, if we leave in the first sentence, modify the second sentence so that it is, if you want your materials to be disseminated, that's the number of copies that you need to bring, but do allow documents and materials to be distributed to the board. I think 6, I don't hear anybody have a problem with that. Number 7, I think 8 is probably a good one to have. There was some discussion about that, but I do think it should be matters about the county, not matters that are out of our control. I don't see problem 9, 10, or 11. How about that? Is that the general consensus?
I think perhaps on old number 2, 3 minutes to speak unless the board chair has a question.
And I think that's pretty much what we do now, it's just giving a guideline for people.
I think that way we know what.
I mean, if someone doesn't comply with that, it's going to be the chairman's responsibility to bring it up anyway.
Right.
Just like it is now. This is just giving you an idea of how we conduct our meetings.
Well, Mr. Chairman, just to me, the word guideline gives you, as chairman, the legal way. I don't see, you know, this being set in stone.
Is that good, Dave? Did you get most of those? If you make those changes, just put it back next time. All right, I'll entertain a motion to pass the Haywood County Board of Commissioners guidelines for public comments at meetings, subject to the modifications and mainly additions and a few, mainly deletions and a few additions that we've made this evening during our meeting and which are recorded on the minutes.
So,
Second. Okay, any discussion? All in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? And that passes unanimously. Okay, thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. Next is new business.